Hello. It's Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it now. Better turn epidemic down just a tad so I can hear myself think. Hmm? There, I did it. Right. It's Saturday. It's the 27th of, my God, June. June is gone. Half the year is gone. Woo. All right, well, we better hustle on over here to podcast because, yeah, I tell my friends over at Facebook. Facebook is still with us. Just get your thing loaded up for youtube.com/at FAU for you. Because when, whoop, there it goes. Yeah. Anyway, for those of you legal beagles, we have our standard disclaimers, disclosures, warnings, notices, and cautions. Please take note of 7 steps. You know, I have a lot of people that call me up. I've been on the faculty at FAU, adjunct faculty, since October 2003. Oh my God. It's almost over 20 years. Be safe to say that. Yeah, we got Carolyn's sister up there in Milwaukee. I say, do you get an email from somebody you don't know? Do not open it. As tempting as it is. You get something from Social Security says, hey, just fill this out and get your 6,000. Don't just delete it. Find out, in the world of Mac, hit the control key, hold the control key down, and then click on it. It's gone. Yeah. Yep, that usually does it. And your basic, iPads or iPhones, just swipe it left or right. It's gone. Do not open it. Don't take a look. Because it's like, when you get those diseases because you put your thing where it doesn't belong or you touch something you shouldn't have touched. Don't. The internet is this is not professional advice because you should consult with your own personal IT professionals. I don't know who they are exactly. That means what a professional means, but consult with one. I'm not one of them. We're not CPAs. We're not accountants. Number 3 there. We offer no financial advice. We do not recommend any gambling. I do have a spreadsheet that I display from time to time, including today. You can go back to this and pause, the broadcast and read it. At your leisure, print it out, take a look at it. It's okay. Those of you that dabble in such things like Fantasy 5. Fantasy 5? Those were the winning numbers. Mega Millions. I'm sorry, I used the wrong vocabulary word. Mega Millions. If you're a Mega Millions person, ah, that is not. Let's see. What is this? Let's go to recent. Let's go here. In the top. This is it here. Yeah. 5, 13, 30, 33, 52. Mega Millions Ball 6. You know, the last. That's a rather obvious display on what the winning numbers were. How about that panel with the red background? Yeah, right there. It's kind of slick new look, huh? I'm deciding on maybe using that as my standard. Uh, I just do print screen right off the lottery website. I don't like typing. No. Because then you have the risk of transposing something. Instead of 13, it's 31, 30, 31, 33. No, 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 no. No. Not right. I don't think. Yeah. There it is. 511. That other one I should use was my guess. Oh, maybe they'd round up. Well, they didn't. There isn't no rounding up. Yeah, those lottery people, they don't know how many tickets are going to be sold, so. Bonus from 4 goes to the 511 million. That's half a billion. Ouch. Can you imagine? Oh, I just won $1 billion. $1 billion. Oh my God. No. 511 million. The purpose in this display here is to show you what you can do with, your basic spreadsheet software. I just took a blank. Yeah, I created this out of. This has nothing to do with gambling. It has to do with data collection. We're not a data harvester because we don't create it. We just package it. So this is a data collection, an abstraction exercise because this is not official anything. This is just mathematical Jimmy creating a spreadsheet from a blank spreadsheet in numbers, which is the same, the functional equivalent to what do you call it, Excel, the Microsoft version, Excel. In the world of Apple, it's called numbers. Yeah. And if you write letters and things, they have a software app called Pages. Pages. This is numbers. Yeah. Yeah. Microsoft has, Microsoft Word. I was a Microsoft person for 25 years until my son Daniel begged me, please, Dad, don't buy any more Windows laptops for us. We love you, but please switch over to Mac. So I bought MacBooks, you know, for everybody when he was 13 years old. So that would be, yeah. 21 years ago, Daniel begged me to not buy any more. Because what I do is I would buy the latest and greatest, from Hewlett Packard or whatever. And whatever I was using, I'd clean up, get all my personal stuff on, and hand me down. I'd get something new and hand me down. And he said, please don't hand me down one of those. Can we please switch to Mac? Because in school, Apple gives all these kids, uh, computers, in the school system. So they're brought up on Macs. Pretty smart move because, Apple gets uh, the tax benefit of, giving valuable stuff. So it's like donating to the public, and they can deduct that from their income. I'm not a tax guy, but I imagine it's part of it. Yeah. And Apple thinking, you know what? We bring these kids up on Macs. Maybe they'll get Macs when they're adults. Well, Daniel convinced. So I studied Macs over, a period of time. And, yep. Right now, I ended up buying everybody a MacBook laptop. Here I am over here on the side. What? Yeah. So the 613 B. I don't think I have a 613 already. So 613B. I don't think there's a 613A. This is B. All right. June 17th. So last night's lottery, 5, 13, 30, 33, 52, 6. The odds of winning that is worse than 290 million to 1 chance. So there's a good chance. When you think about it, is anyone going to win? Well, it's 290 million to 1 chance that no one is going to win. So I copied this whole row of stuff here. I had 515 in there, which was I overguessed by 4 million. I had to crank that back to 511 million, and then all these numbers string along, and so 511 million would be the next jackpot. Now, this is strictly a statistical view of things. We're not encouraging any get-rich-quick gambling schemes, because I can tell you that if you buy one of these lottery tickets, there's 290 million to 1 chance you're making a donation to the educational fund, and you will not win. I think the overall winning odds is 23 to 1, which means, generally, if you bought 24 tickets, maybe one of them has some kind of a winning anything on it. No, that's not very good. 20 times 5 is 100. Yeah, so You buy $100 worth of tickets, you might get a $5 winner on one of them. Why would anyone do that? Don't. We don't give professional advice. This is strictly educational advice. We don't recommend any of that. My lawyer just called me and says, put your disclosures and disclaimers up. Yeah. But yeah, you should take notice of it. Yep. Yep. All right, here we go. This is there we go. 511. I'm showing the last two. I can't show you what's going to happen on June 30 because I don't know what's going to happen June 30. We do not we don't try to project anything like that. We just say it's rollover, baby. So on Tuesday, that'll be the 30th. See the number 30? 29, 28. That means that on Tuesday's drawing at 11 p.m., that'll be the 30th attempt to try to see if anyone can win this thing. And the lottery pool keeps increasing. Now it's up to 511 million. Ouch. That's crazy stupid numbers. No, it's 290 million to one reason why you're not going to win. So what the hell's the difference? It could be 3 billion, right? But as they say, you can't win if you don't play. Well, don't. Just statistically speaking, I went through the various lottery results and did my own internal estimations. And you see that little tiny 45? You know, it's like 45%, 45.248 or something rather. 231.2. Yeah, let's clear our calculator. 231.2. 231.2 divided by 511 equals, there you go, 45.2. If I show you all the decimal places, there you go, 45.244618395 in case you want to get really cranky about it. So that's why that little 45 is there, it's a little over 45%. You do all the machinations, calculations, and reverberations. 231.2. I'm sorry. There we go. Add me back in. Now I have to slide this over a little bit. No, shrink it down. There we go. Let's see what I can. There we go. Sorry about that. One over here on this side. Just right in the middle. And so when someone calculates what the lump sum, the jackpot lump sum, it's literally the net present value, which is the present value of the future cash flows. Yeah. I've determined one point in the future cash flow with that 7 million. See that 7,000,006 number? Right there. That's the first payment. Now it's a 5% growing annuity, which means the second payment is 5% bigger than the first payment. And if you divide 8075 by 7691, you end up with 105%. There you go. And the third payment would be 5% bigger than the $8 million figure. And so on and so on and so on. And it keeps growing for 29 payments. Now, if you elect to take the annuity, which is, I think, one might call that the default position of the Florida Lottery. What do you call it? Because if you don't declare a lump sum, you're getting the annuity by default. That's what that means. That's assuming you claim your winning ticket, which there aren't any, before 180 days expires from the draw date. Because on the 181st day, the ticket is null and void. Can you imagine if you had the winning ticket? And it's a $511 million payout over 29 years. 29 years. with initial payment of $7,691,000, and then 360 days later you get another $8,075,000, and so on and so on and so on. Whereas on the 30th payment, it's like over 30 million because of the magical part of compounding. You compound 5% interest, and that $8 million payment becomes like almost a $30 million payment, maybe even more than that. Want to know? All right, let's just go there. I don't like to go there because, in the world of spreadsheets, this is the actual spreadsheet. It's loading. There it is. It's touchscreen. And if you touch the wrong thing, this thing goes on fire. No, it doesn't go on fire. So we're moving along here. That black line there shows you, this is my default print screen right there with everything, to the left of that black line. And everything to the right of the black line is those 29, see the 12 payment, 13, 14, 15, see the black numbers up there at the top? 18, 19, 20. See that on the top? Yeah, you sure do. See, payment number 30 is 31 million. It started off at 7,000,006, ended up at 31 million. That's amazing. So on the 29th year, you get a $30 million deposit. On the 30th payment, you got another 31 million. 28, 27, 26, you see that? It all adds up to 511. Actually, I added up the whole row, and it's 510,999,050. And see the numbers in red there? There we go. At 950. I shortchanged it. Because you're supposed to get 511, you got 510. You got $950 short. So what if I were the lottery official, which I'm not, I'd say, lottery people, the numbers look good except for the 30th installment. It's $950 short. So that 31,658,310, add $950 to that, because that way our customer ends up with 511 million. He's entitled to 511. That was, That's what we estimate it to be. That's what the contract says. To give him an extra $950. You can make it a separate check or just add it to that $31 million number. Okay, I showed you. That's adding the whole way across. Stopping right here. Yeah. This is calculation right. Here, you see how the whole row is. Let's go across. See the purple? It's adding up all these numbers right up to that 690, that's 7,691,000 number. Adding all those up together, what do we get? 510. It's $950 short. You know why? Because we're rounding up and rounding down because we don't pay tenths of a penny. So you can see this number here. Let's take a peek at it. Just gonna double click that. See, it's rounded to -1. So it's rounded to, and there's $10, up or down. So if it was 19, it rounds up to 20. If it was 14, it rounds up to 010. You know. So we're rounding to the nearest, not the highest, not the lowest, the nearest $10. That's why there's a zero. You don't see, 31,658,309.9 with the pennies. Yeah. So I'm rounding to the nearest $10 up or down, all the way across. Let's see what this is rounded to. Let's just double click it. Same thing. You see in brackets round. Now there's 3 roundings. You can round up, round down, or just round it. And if you're just rounding it, that means 5 or more, you go up to 280. If it's 4 or less, then it would be, 280. So it's either 280, 279, 280. So that's rounding. It's rounding to the nearest 10. Up or down. No prejudice. We got roll over there. Yep. Perfect rollover scenario. We've decided to use these red backgrounded numbers. I mean, we're using those. Yeah, it's a matter of what you print screen and copy. Because it's all copy and paste. Yeah. I do not type numbers. Except the 511. I typed that in. So in theory, the lottery people are telling you, if you're going to write these down, write it down correctly. So I'm now commandeering. I'm trying to get as close to this. I'll just go right here. I go right up there so I don't see. There we go. That's it. Mm-hmm. Just making that a little bit smaller. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just shrink this down a little bit. There we go. There we go. column widths. So when I come over here, there we go. See the 7,060,000. And the proper. Whoops. Oh. Just like that. Unbelievable. The match. Oh, I know what it is. There we go. Because I wasn't. Okay. So now we're good. So now I'm going to go away. We want to go away from the actual spreadsheet. Now we come back here to the. Yeah. Yeah. We don't want any part of that spreadsheet stuff. That's nothing but trouble. Troubles are brewing. Here, we can see the first two payments. If you want the lump sum, these directions are very important. Even though no one's winning, no one's gonna win. So put your money back in your pocket. Go get yourself a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Spend that $5 on our society. You're not gonna get a winning ticket. There's 290 million to 1 reasons why you're not. Do not recommend gambling. No. Now this spreadsheet I'm playing with, that's strictly funsies. For yeah, well, I mean, I taught high school math. You know, kind of, I know how to add and subtract. It's funny, you know. I was I was totally bored with high school. I mean, totally. Junior high and high school. Should have spent time with developing my social skills. I didn't do much of that either. I was in the basement taking apart electronics. So, went to college for 5 or 6 years. Then, lo and behold, I was teaching high school math. And the principals told the principal, I said, I'll teach all the advanced math. You know, advanced for at the time, which meant algebra, advanced algebra, geometry, trigonometry, solid geometry. Yeah. Introductory to calculus. So let's just take trigonometry, trig. You know, Pythagorean theorem. You know, you got triangles. The opposite and adjacent angles add up to exactly 90 degrees. Yep. You had one, you had the other, it's 90 degrees. Period. If you're going to have a right triangle, it means the third angle in there, there's 3. That's always, 90 degrees. Perpendicular, right? So what are the other 2 angles? Well, it depends on, what that triangle looks like. Well, that's going to add up to 90 degrees also. If you add both those internal angles. 30, 60, 90, right triangle. 90 is 180. Yep. It always adds up to 180. Yeah. It's just the Pythagorean theorem. Anyway, so when I didn't do well in all these topics. I didn't pay attention. I was, you know, the teacher was looking left and I was looking right. They want you to add and I'd subtract, whatever. I just wasn't focused. Anyway, so now when you teach it, you're standing in front of 35 young, wise ass students. Now, I'm only 22, right? 22, 23, somewhere in there. 20, 22, 23. Let's just say 23 years old. These little wise asses, what are they? They're 14 years old, so they're 6, 7, 8 years younger than me, but they're like my younger brother and sister. You want to slap them across but you can't. No touchy. Yeah, you got these rules. It's called laws. You smack a kid, and oh my God, you'd be up Shit's Creek without a paddle, as they say. So touchy. You go over there and you can threaten to rip the person's head off, but you're not allowed to rip their head off. Anyways, so when you're standing in front of all these little whippersnippers who are highly critical, and a couple of them are also not paying attention, and their project may be, let's see if Wilski really knows what the hell he's doing. Let's study deeply every word he says. Well, I figured there'd be 2 or 3 in the class that were sizing me up for every breath of air that I exhaled with words coming out of my mouth simultaneously with those exhales. And sure as shooting, yeah, people in there. So I figured, you better wise up and figure out what's going on here. So I so I learned how to deal with high school math by studying real hard before each day's class. Because, when you stand in front of 35, 40 people, you better know what the hell you're talking about. Or they're going to start throwing erasers at you. I mean, not really. But, you got to know what the hell you're talking about. So that's when I really learned algebra and advanced algebra, trigonometry, solid geometry. Oh my God, it was solid stuff. So I tried to stay 2-dimensional if at all possible. Yeah, so that's day by day, I would go through their textbook and learn exactly what they're learning. And a lot of that was for the first time for me too. Can you imagine a high school teacher? You figure, yeah, he knows this for 10 years, 20 years. Nope, I learned it last night and taught it to your kid the next day. But I knew it, and I taught it right. But I can tell you, when I signed up to teach the class, during the summer, and then the principal says, "Okay, what do you want to teach?" There was a high need for math teachers, so they lowered their standards to pick me up off the bottom in the net, when they're sifting the net through the stormy waters. So I was hanging down there near the bottom, and they swooped me up, and they looked at me. Says, "All right, what the hell do you want to teach? Do you know anything about math?" I said, "Well, yeah, a little bit, yeah. I had a minor in math, according to my scholastic records." Yeah, we see that. You think what do you want to teach? I said, I want to teach all the advanced math. I do not want to teach basic math. So what do you mean? So Mr. Ingram, that was my principal's name. William R. Ingram, I think. Something like that. Bill Ingram. I called him Mr. Ingram, of course. He's like my father, he's like 65 and I'm like 25. So when he's 40 years older than you, just treat him like you would dad, with respect. Speak when you're spoken to. Otherwise, sit down and shut up. That's what I did. And he said, all right, since math teachers were in high demand, which means, Mr. Anderson was the other math teacher, and he didn't know his ass from fat meat. I mean, he was, I think all he could do was basic math, which is like adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing. How do you teach that all year? I mean, that's like, all right, today we're going to do addition. Tomorrow we're going to do subtraction. On Thursday we're going to divide. And Friday we're going to multiply. And next Monday we're going to review all four. And then we're going to do addition again on Tuesday. How do you teach that for the whole school year? 193 days of teaching the same thing over and over. I mean, so I told Mr. Ingram, I said, forget it. No basic math for me. I want to teach all the topics that no one else wants to teach. I'll take them, I'll take 2 classes of algebra, 2 classes of geometry, and then 1 class of all the other maths that you offer. For my 7, you had to teach 7 classes out of a 9-period day. And you get 2 periods, study halls, plus you eat lunch with half the student body. Some people eat lunch with the other half of the student body. You're either lunch A or lunch B. 35 minutes for lunch. Or whatever it was. So, there you go. That's it. So when I was teaching, I remember when I was teaching geometry, I had to go, the theorems and all this stuff and proving and proofs. Geez, what the hell's that all about? I mean, this really is outrageous. Yeah, I had fun talking to myself. And okay, I got to figure out how to do this stuff because I got to stand in front of these cranky little shits. Because if you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to tell you it's going to be a very uncomfortable hour. So I better know what I'm talking about. So that's when I learned math when I was teaching it in high school. Oh God, I'm a math minor in college, right? I forget what the hell classes were in there and how that worked. When it was time to teach high school math, I had to learn the topics. Take it from the top. I turned the pages of the checkbook. Oh my God. I literally had to learn the topic, before the class was introduced to page 18. Read pages 18 to 48, okay? That's 30 pages. Can you just slowly go through 30 pages? Come on. Give me 30. If you do a minute a page, that's 30 minutes. It's not that complicated. Take 2 minutes a page. Give me an hour. Come on. It's the rest of your life here. Some kids did and some kids didn't. Some kids did have half of one and the other, not the other half. Anyway, I had to know what I was talking about because some of these little shits are going to tear me apart if I can't stand my ground. So I had to, yeah, you have to, yeah, you gotta know what you're talking about. I know. I remember Jerry Anderson. That was his name. Nice man. Yeah. He's, I'm like 22 or 3, remember? He was, let's say, 40. That's, that's 17 years older than me. That's like my way older brother. That's like almost like my father. Mr. Ingram was my father. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. Jerry Anderson. He was in his 40s. I'm in my 20s. So I treated everybody with respect on the faculty. Period. You just gotta. You're in public education. If you mistreat a student to the point where he thinks he's going to get back at you, that you don't want that to happen. The student, you cannot leave the student with the idea that he's going to get. I'm coming after you. No, you don't want that. You don't want him coming after you because he may meet with his father may be a lawyer. God, heaven forbid. Oh God. Come beat me up, but please don't take me to court. Yep. Anyway, so I survived several years of public education. And then years later, I came on the faculty at a 22,000 student university at the time. Now it's a 30,000 student university. It's been like hovering around 30,000. That's a lot of, that's a lot of people going to school. Florida Atlantic University. That's a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you get to know some of the faculty. You almost, after a while, you almost feel like you belong. After quite a while. Even after like 9 years, I didn't really know anybody. It's big, when you got a 30,000 student university. They got buildings here and buildings there. I was in building like 53. This is like a 4-story, really heavy duty built building. It's the Earth Sciences building. But I had a room there on the 3rd floor, room 350 something. It was on the, coming around from the elevators. It's on the left side. Walk down the corridor and look to your left, and you see room 350, whatever the hell it was. I have it stamped on a key in the key somewhere. Yeah, I think. Very heavy duty. Everything is really heavy. The door is 3 inches, 2.5 inches thick, solid material. If you charged up against that door, you'd break your shoulder. Yeah. When that door shuts, it is closed. You can't hear. You might hear some tunes coming out from underneath them, but you can't hear stuff coming sideways out through the door. I tried it. You can't hear. Can't hear a squat. So anyway, we taught a lot of students. There was a period of time where I had a very good contact. I guess it was within the College of Education. And this lady knew somebody at the Sun Sentinel, the Fort Lauderdale Sun Sentinel. And every every couple of months they'd run a really big story about my class, and my phone rang off the hook with people registering for the class. I mean, it was unbelievable. If that source dried up for me, and I wasn't smart enough to get some of these phone numbers before people, they did away with they did away, not with the educational department, they did away with the continuing ed department. Oh, oh, there's my my cat just knocked stuff on the floor. There's, hey, how you doing there, Kino? There you go. You're on national television. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah. You're such a sweet boy. Yeah. Look at that. He's licking my. He's like, Jesus. Yeah, that's it. Surprise, Earl is back. She knocked off the stuff that was on Marilyn's. She's sitting on Marilyn. It's a 15-year-old cat, sitting up there looking. Whatever this is. He, yep. Kino has just exited the room and ruefully awakened. Wow. Anyway, so I'm going through when I learned high school math. Well, it's kind of embarrassing. And you're supposed to know that stuff before you look at this picture. What's going on? Yeah. I don't want to select. There we go. Look at this. This is some kind of a cylinder. Cobalt-60. Was created in 7163. Drop it and run. There's a fast instructions when you have something that's radioactive. Danger, radiation, and then you got the radiation symbol, and the instructions are drop that son of a bitch and get the hell away from it. Oh my God. So anyway, Cobalt-60, just so you know, has a half-life of 5 years. So if it had, just gonna make, I don't even know what I'm talking about. This, this whole radiation thing. I was in college. So by the time I got out of college, I never got a chance to really explore all this radioactivity stuff. I should have, and I was like more on the biochemistry side than the physical chemistry side, when you're dealing with stuff like that's radioactive. Yeah, I mean, that's like, what? Let's rotate this around a little bit if I can. There we go. Yeah. Guess I'm going to have to. I got to come in this side a little bit.
It's 8:45.
Crank that up. How come? Yeah, I got to go skinny this way and that way. Yeah, I want to see the top and bottom of that. There we go. So now at least it's, yeah, we're vertical. Yep. There we go. Drop and run. That is a very frightening notion. Drop and run. Holy crap. I mean, it's like It's like etched into this. Apparently, these are things that go into a rod. They emit radiation. Now, at a nuclear power plant, there's thousands of these things, and they get loaded into rods, and each one of them says drop and run. So it's, this is apparently a nuclear, uh, I guess it's cobalt 60 on the periodic table. 3540. I don't know if that's a serial number or what, but drop and run is a pretty serious declaration. So yeah, what the hell? Get the hell out of there. You're dealing with that stuff. Holy miracle. Very cool. Ah. Getting into tick season. There's a tick. That's a female tick. Those little calipers, they bite you, and they have like disease on them. And it's a kind of a virus that it's a killer. And when you get cured, like you still have bugs inside of you. That they don't go. I don't think they go away. They come to a point where they, after you've taken some kind of meds, you live through it. Transactive power as you're looking, you're flying in 200 feet, and that's what it would look like. If you're in a jet airplane, you're probably crashing because the airport is not in that direction. So something is up. Flying too low over Paris and violating all kinds of laws. Being that low over all those buildings, Yeah, I mean, if you do that, you get, you don't get a ticket. They prosecute you. I don't know if they throw you in jail or not, but yeah. They lose. Yeah. Anyway, so this whole Olympic thing, what's one of the most popular cameras? Sales of the EOS R1, $5,900. Look at that. It's for a used one. I have a used one. Outstanding condition, as is this one. Yeah, not a mark on it. Cameras, like, I have this lens. That's worth another $3,500. Lens is so beautiful. Canon lens, 70-200 f2.8 L IS image stabilization. Oh my God, you lock in. That's a great soccer lens. Soccer, football, tennis. High speed, outstanding optical characteristics of the glass. Yeah. Canon RF as opposed to EF. RF, that's for mirrorless. RF lenses you cannot use on EF type cameras, but EF lenses can be used in mirrorless. You just need, I think it's a 20 millimeter extension. I sold all the glass. Got this native RF. I mean, this is designed for a mirrorless, the Canon mirrorless Canon camera. I mean, look at this. You got industrial screws in there, and the top of the screw is, got the same finish as the lens body. I mean, these people, precision manufacturing is looking at it. Look at all them contacts. Yeah. That electrical signal is going back and forth into the lens, into the camera. Yeah. That's the lens shade. The only light that you want hitting this glass is the subject light. So that's why it's screw on that. It's got a little clip. Turns and turn it. Push that button. Rotate it about 90 degrees and it'll come off. I use the lens shade all the time, indoors or outdoors. It makes the lens appear longer, but it's a nice safety feature. People would have to reach around there and get in. You don't want anyone to touch the lens. No, because the glass is right on the other side of that rim. There it is right there. And that glass is beautifully polished. You don't want a thumbprint on there. Yeah, because then you gotta, use special equipment. Full specs. Weight. Camera, apparently. And it goes up to exposure. An ISO of 102,000. 1024. Yeah, CF Express disk drive, which I have in there, a solid state for. Yep. 2024 camera. 1/8,000th of a second. See that right there? Yeah. JPEG plus RAW file format. I shot in JPEG. It was all exercise with RAW, but when you take, Marilyn and I have taken millions of pictures. You don't have the time to deal with each one of these things in RAW. Are you kidding me? There's not enough time in the day. That means you have to spend 20 or 30 minutes on each image. On a particular sporting event, we might, getting rid of the pictures of elbows, we might have 800 shots between the two of us. Now multiply that 800 times 5 minutes of photo. Anyway, so when you take, when you take 800 shots, which you're looking for a couple of good ones. So what I would do out of, I don't, I didn't throw away images unless they were a picture of an elbow or something, because particularly with, athletic events, that's someone's son or daughter, that son, that picture of that person has a parent out there somewhere in TV land. So why deprive that parent of a picture of their kid? So what I would, so we took pictures of all kinds of things during a Friday or Saturday, Saturday afternoon football game, home game, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, for the 4-hour duration of a football sporting event, we would take about 800 shots. So I would go through her, Marilyn would give me her data card, and I'd have my data card. I'd load them into copy them all into, you know, I'm a bad here, iPad Pro. And then I look at each of the pictures. And if there were elbows, pictures of nothing, then I'd, delete them. But from this inventory of pictures that I would have, I would move a picture to the front, beginning, that's what I would do. I would take about 5%. So 5 times 8 is 40. So I would try to find 40 outstanding pictures. Maybe it's the calm of the day. Maybe it was the most exciting part of the day. Maybe it was, you know, and the sporting shots. You had good soccer looking pictures, football players, whatever. So I'd move, let's say 30 still images and 25 behind a 4-year interval. Yep. So I'd move 40 or 50 to the front of the album of that 850 pool of images, calling out elbows and feet and stuff, when you're in the heat of the moment taking pictures, sometimes, you end up with some stupid ones, so you ditch those, but if you happen to snap a real, I would call publisher quality. That's what those 40 or 50 images would be. But I would consider publisher quality images of, what was going on with that sporting event and the surrounding activities, student body stuff.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Yeah. I'm glad to see my EOS 1R. It's 45 million pixels. I mean, the camera's like spectacular. It's really a solid beast when you combine it with this lens. This is the body. Yeah, look at that. They have it mixed up. FIFA. FIFA. There it is. Best cameras with a double battery. Yep, you just pull that tab down and give it a rotate. That drawer slides out, and you have 2 lithium-ion batteries that rock solid. I still can't get over that. Danger, radiation, drop and run. Don't try to find a home for it. Just drop that sucker on the ground and go. Because radiation poisoning kills. Wow, that's the first time I've seen that. I'm sure you people, first time you've seen that too. So yeah, let's go here. One more thing I want to show. Yeah, let's go to ESPN. This is Scotty Scheffler. Is this the able to play video? Yeah. All right. Anyway, so let's. I can go to my photo album. I did a print screen of this because I knew I didn't want to have to worry about whether. There it is, right here. There you go. See right there. For the first time in recorded memory, after two rounds of play, Thursday, Friday, Scotty's at the top of the leaderboard with a 2-stroke lead. Yesterday, he shot 10 under par. Yesterday. So 6 under par the first day, 10 under the second day. He actually had 11 birdies and 1 bogey. Yeah, no bogey. You don't want to have bogey. I mean, that's, for the longest time, he would have bogey-free rounds. But he's had bogeys lately. Those are killers. Birdies are hard enough. You got all these guys chasing you. Oh my god! So it's you got to have 4. You got to have 4 good days if you expect to win anything, and they want to win. I can tell you, these guys are not interested in second, third place, even though you make, $20 million purses. This is, I believe, the last of the big purse events. You get $4.5 million payday if you win it. Second place, like $2 million, which ain't chump change, but no one ever knows who got second place or third place or fifth place. You might have a $900,000 winning, but I did a very rough calculation. Taking their tax bracket, because they got to be at the top end of their tax bracket, right? So under Trump, the maximum tax bracket is 37%. So you retain 63% of the money that you earn. There is no state income tax in Florida, so if you live in Florida, 180 days out of the year, I think that's the IRS regulation. You got to prove 180 days of residency in the state of Florida. So if you're going to win a lottery like this, oh my God. No sense in living in New Jersey and paying an extra $25 million in tax because you got a 13% tax bracket for state income tax. They say, oh yeah, no, just do your federal income tax. But you'll see a tab that says state income tax. Well, that's, you can save all those pictures where you're kissing the trophy. Come on over here and yeah. Anyway, this is a picture now. This is not a live. They are playing. And they had people teeing off at 8:30 this morning. So it was underway. It's 8:30 this morning. Most, this is like the first page of maybe 4 pages of people. So you got everyone in the planet chasing you to win. You need a reason code why people should vote for you. That's what you got to have. Needs to be in their head. All right. 9:08. I'm going to say goodbye. You all have a great Saturday. I might come back and talk to you on Sunday. Who knows? So come back to here. We go to full straight mode. Yeah. And do that. That's how we start. That's how we end. Have a great day. Bye-bye.